Popping, fellas.
Glad to be here as always. Three, what's going on with you,
Yo,
man?
I got good reception. Your brothers came on last time, man. You know what I'm saying? Like mature battle rap conversations. And that's what y'all gonna get, man. We hate it or love it. It is what it is with us over here, right? Fellas, let me ask y'all before we get into these matches, man. Easy to Block Captain, Trenches, August 10th. 1 year anniversary, right? Is the Trenches, are they here now? What are we doing, Smo Lang? Are they here?
Well, I was there for the first event.
Oh, you're the
I was about to say, yeah, I was there for the first event, and we know the hoopla behind like the first event with all the battlers backing out and all that and whatnot. Well, one thing I can say is that like they have put on good battles. They're pretty consistent, at least giving you two to three battles that you will go and rewatch. I mean, I feel like between them and Chrome, truth be told, they've been a little bit more consistent when it comes to putting out events. The only event I thought, was like, what's the Philly versus NY card? But for the most part, you can expect at least a couple battles coming from them. But I mean, they're about a year in, and before we start saying, are they here talk, I mean, I think they need a little bit more longevity before that. We've seen leads come and go. But in terms of what they've been able to accomplish in their year, I think they've done a solid job. So,
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like middle level or smaller level leagues, whichever one you want to classify them as, they do their numbers. And I wasn't even 100% sure, especially after the first card, all the talents got pulled off. And granted, Riggs and Kate Walker ended up good. Easy was good, but even some of those in between battles weren't the craziest.
Dying Ness was all right. That was cool.
Yeah, there was 4 chokes in 6 rounds. But it was fun. People had fun. There was moments like that where I'm like, where's that full card quality going to come? But one thing that Trenches is amazing at so far that I got to give them so much credit is their roster. Like when they ended up, a lot of critique at first when they were challenging people, Battle Academy to cards, and they're saying, "Where's your roster?" But at this point, when you look at not just like talent like JSmo, for instance, that's had work and Trenches just revitalized him. Tex is a Trenches artist. Like King is a Trenches artist. Like I have not seen any. Maybe they got some home league battles or somewhere else. I know King's from Detroit, but to me, they are fully, put into the scene by Easy in the Trenches, and they're good. It's one of the better, like pure, like that league's talents rosters that they have in terms of new talent. So overall, you know what I'm saying? I feel like they've like 7 to 8 out of 10. If I had to grade the first year, I feel like they've had like a 7 out of 10, maybe 8 out of 10 year if you prefer some of those top battles, and that's good output in my opinion with their best card coming up. So.
Can they pick the pieces up where RBE left off at? Can they pick up the pieces?
See, I don't like when we do that because
that's not fair to put on. That's not.
Yeah,
it's so long for RBE. Really fighting. At one point, RBE wasn't even the clear number 2. King of the Dot was for a lot of that. And even if it wasn't King of the Dot, even though they were never in that position, UW used to pop out and throw these humongous events. Like big battles could go everywhere. I mean, Trenches has locked down some big battles we're about to talk about. But in order to be on the level of RBE, I mean, you need to book some of the most important battles of the culture 4 to 5 times a year. That's hard to do. But if they can even pick up some of that workload that's left over, I mean, everybody can eat.
And for me personally, I feel like, just as someone that's been watching Battle Rap for a while, I mean, it took RBE 4 to 5 years of consistency to be considered even in that conversation. You know what I'm saying? They came around 2014. People really, and like they've had solid work for years. It took them to get Mook on one of the cards for the people to be like, okay, they're really here. So yeah, to Smo's point, I think, we gotta hold off on the talk for a little bit.
Let's play the waiting game.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to these battles, sir. Dre Majesty versus Baby James. Like, listen, Smo and like, I gotta be honest with you, fellas. I was not hip to Dre Majesty before the Trenches tournament, and Chef Trez was the one who kind of put me on with like, yo, 3, stop playing my young boy from Atlanta. Dre Majesty gets busy. Then I got to interview him. I got to talk to him a little bit more, watch a couple of his battles. I know he lost to JSmo, I believe, right, fellas? He lost to JSmo
in the first round.
Still good. He had a solid 3-letter man bar. Shout out to him and all that. I know Baby James also battled Bo the Goat. Also was on this card. Bo the Great. Part of stuff.
No, I mean, listen. I'm gonna be real. I was introduced to pretty much all these talents besides. I mean, it's easy to drop out. There's a couple I could pick out, but I'm right there with you. Actually, my guy Titus. Shout out LTBR. You know what I'm saying? He put me on to what Dre Majesty was doing. Did a good interview with him before the tournament, and I know in the building they had Jay Moore, you know, body bag over Dre Majesty. We kind of know where the momentum was. I thought Dre had one of the better performances of the night. He did lose. I had him lose that battle clear, but I actually think it just so happens, you know, he was battling one of the better battlers first. And if I had to, you know, I thought he showed me more or gave me more material that stuck with me as opposed to Baby James, who wasn't bad, but, you know, he was one of the guys in the tournament. It didn't. Dre is someone that I kind of remembered he's got a little bit of something. So I personally got him winning going in just off of seeing a little bit more potential. He's nice, man.
2-1 for me, Small and Lang. 2-1.
Yeah. I also got Dre 2-1. But one caveat I will say though is like when you have these like smaller level battles between like people that are both trying to rise, I mean upsets are bound to happen. You know, I've seen, you know, situations where like someone's A side, they showed us a little bit more early, but then the hunger on the other side comes around and you know they just have a breakout performance. And that's the beauty behind having like these young hungry talents, is you don't know when they're about to pop. You don't know when they're about to rise to that next level. So I do have Dre, but you know, I'm expecting this to be a competitive battle, though, for sure.
All right. So all in agreement, Jay Majesty across the board, all three of us.
2-1.
With these new talents,
James, show and prove. Three of us will give it up, man. We all talk battle rap here. We'll give it up to you.
Make an impression, man. Make some impact.
We'll talk. Let me ask you a question. Do you guys get satisfaction or gratification real quick before we go to the next battle? When you pick a winner, right, to win a battle, and they don't win, right? And you got to give it up, though. Do you feel I feel it kind of good, like when somebody proves me wrong. Like
you got to be open to that in media. I feel like you got to be open to that because I mean we make our predictions hell for the you know the Cody stuff that we do. So you know we actually have leaderboards where we compete to see you know friendly how the predictions go throughout the year. And obviously you know I take some pride in getting more battles right than wrong. I watch a bit of battle rap, but I feel like being wrong is kind of the greatest the greatest moments that happen during the year are usually when we're wrong. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like those are the most impactful, whether it's big stage, you know what I'm saying, lower level battle rap, it's people making an impression. So, you know, I love it. I get to be able to tell people like, oh, I got to reevaluate you and things of that nature. And they can be better than I thought. So I'm never mad at that. It's part of the game.
Yeah, no, there's a reason why, you know what I'm saying, we you know, Champion eventually created the biggest upsets of the year because, you know, we spent a lot of time talking about battlers aren't this, battlers aren't that, they can't be such and such. But sometimes we need to dial it back and say, hey, they did accomplish this and give them their flowers for it. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with Small. I feel like I feel great when a battler proves me wrong. You know what I'm saying? I feel great when a battler rises to the occasion. And it's happened plenty of times. And I like it even more when it's coming from an unexpected, you know what I'm saying, party. You know, sometimes there's people that just don't perform in the fashion that they're supposed to, but then there's other times where like you didn't see it in them and you know they show and prove. So, you know, always satisfaction in that regard.
I think I've had to apologize to Jazz the Rapper the most out of any battle rapper.
You can
From 2D to 40 bars. Like, I've had to apologize to this woman on numerous occasions, man. For real, man. Next battle, fellas. Skull versus Bo the Great. Obviously, we know from Skull from back in URL days, right? Relationship easy to block captain. Let's be honest, he got on this card because he's
got a gnome appearance. A lot of people
know. Absolutely. He did battle in the trenches. I think tryouts. I think Skull did battle on there. I think a while ago last year and everything. If I look at Skull here, man, Hash 100s, Gwitty, Newborn, Ali Boom, Real Deal on UFF, Speed Dollar, Tor Montana. He has been the Stumbleitis, Chokahannes for years in his career, respectfully.
Chokahannes is crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Right? Well, we got the Bronx versus Memphis, Tennessee. I actually was talking to Bo the Great at the Trenches Card of Miami. Good dude and everything like this. I'm gonna go Bo the Great though, man. 2-1. Yeah, I'm sorry, Skull.
I got the same prediction. But it's one of those things where, like, you know, when I'm watching the new talents as well, especially ones that, let's say like King or Moore, they've had more of an impression on me, right? Like these that are still trying to make an impact and kind of make people care and try to build that fan base right now. I'm looking more for people that are going to stand out. I just think it's harder for Skull because he's a vet. And if he's just more experienced and wins because he's just more experienced than someone that's still figuring it out, I could see the pathway for that. But I'm going to go Bo because he has more to prove, right? Like he's still happy. And I thought he was pretty good. I believe he made it through a round. I could be wrong, but I think he made it through one round. Like he was all right. So he's got the Memphis sound. We don't have too many Memphis battle rappers either, so it's a different sound. So I'm kind of rooting for that, so he can open the doors. I'm gonna go him 2-1. But if Skull wins 2-1, like I said, more experienced battle rapper. I mean, it wouldn't be that crazy.
Yeah, I'm going the same way. Similar to what Smo and you just said. Like I feel like the hunger's there. Skull is a veteran, you know what I'm saying? He raps really well, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I think that with battlers like that, they probably will show like their best, give their best showing when they're going against like someone of a higher echelon. And when you're giving your shots, it's not always, you're not gonna be the most enthused. So yeah, I'm going the same direction.
And I already see Boulder Great on Twitter antagonizing Skull with pause-worthy bars that he said throughout the years. He already reeling up some old school lyrics from Skull and everything, man. Next battle, fellas. 10 G's on the line of finalists. King versus Z, the dropout. I'm gonna say this again. I don't know how you fellas feel. Maybe I jump out the window, educate me, fellas.
Respectfully, man.
Respectfully, but listen, Rum Nitty and Loaded Lux is the best battle in 2024, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got Jay Moore, and whenever Easy to Block Cap.
You love that battle.
Yes, Jay Moore versus King as a top 3 battle for 2024.
Top
Real
3.
Talk. For me, it is. In the ability.
It is a good battle. I don't want to play it. I think
yeah.
It is a super good battle. One of the best battles in the trenches. It's a very long battle. It's very,
it's
an
hour long. It's an hour long.
An hour to change for real. So
listen,
it's a very good battle.
In the building, it was like one more round. It was a dope battle between these brothers and stuff, right? I hate the fact that I had to judge that shit, but I'm a big King fan, y'all. Another guy who I didn't know too much about. I have to do the knowledge on him and everything, right?
Yeah.
And battle bars or whatever he came from and stuff like that.
Bar Wars. Yeah, I had the privilege of watching him battle a couple of times prior to going into the trenches event. So I kind of had an idea of how good he was going to be. But it's still amazing just to see, even the progression. I feel like he made the leap that he made going into the tournament. But I feel like when you're in a tournament, Smo talked about this the last time we were here. It heightens everything, so it obviously gonna make you perform that much greater. But I think what made that battle great was that like Jay Moore was like the favorite in the tournament. Everybody know it, but King came from left field and said, "Hey, I'm here too." So, but in terms of who I got winning, I mean, I got King. I got King winning, and this is no slight to Z the Dropout, who actually has a great deal of experience prior to the trenches.
Man, open up
you know what I'm saying? I mean, I wasn't going to use that as a measuring stick. Shout out to him because I actually didn't think he was that terrible in the opening. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, he has a lot of work that he's done. I think he was on a Survivor Series card on URL, one of the exclusive app events and stuff like that. He's done various things. You know what I'm saying? And he's under the tutelage of DNA, so I'm guessing like he's getting the pearls of wisdom from DNA as well too. But in terms of just pure talent. I just think King is going to win this battle 2-1, kind of clear. So that's how I'm calling it.
Yeah, this one is either 2-1 or 3-0. That's really the debate. You could bet on that. I just feel like King has clearly a better talent level. And even with it, by the way, what did you say? Bar Wars? Was it Battle Wars was the league he was on?
Bar Wars.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fire. I didn't know that. But just putting 2 and 2 together. But yeah, his talent cap is just higher. His footage through the tournament, every round of the tournament, if you compare his performance to Z. And listen, I'm gonna give it to Z because I don't think he's got some crazy talent cap. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where he's gonna end up landing if there's like a very long-term battle rap. But when he shows up in these situations, he kind of just handles business. Even if he's not the most impactful. Look, he had a pretty weak side of the bracket, but he just kept handling business because he's battled, he's battle tested. He's been around for a minute. So I got to give him credit for getting to the end of a tournament. That's not no easy thing to do, even if you are predicted to win. We've seen it, but it's the run will be ending here because I just think King is him, Tex, Jay Moore. I think those 3 are on a whole other plateau from the rest of that roster, even if you like the rest. And King's about to show that win this tournament.
Fellas, it's not an upset if Z Dropout beats King, though, is it?
I mean, yes, in terms of perception, but on paper, considering how much Zeta Dropout has done prior to the tournament, it makes sense. But it would be an upset though, because after seeing what King can do, and no offense to Zeta Dropout, I haven't seen.
Listening to M Lang, I feel
I'm just being, I'm the modest one, but after seeing what King can do.
That's what's an upset. I mean, you could he's more vet, and I'm sure that he thinks like I battle way more. I should be predicted. But at the end of the day, if 80%, let's say theoretically, I didn't see it, 80% of people don't go your way and you win, it's an upset. It doesn't even matter if you're supposed to. So yeah, he's obviously the underdog on it.
I'm seeing the trend that we just did the last 2 battles, fellas. We picked Bo the Great to be Skull, who's more well versed, and we know more about him than Bo the Great. But we picked Bo the Great to be Skull,
Yeah.
Was he to drop out with King though?
Like King has been way more impactful. Like Bo is still somewhere in the middle. Like I don't know, that battle could end up not being that good, and it'll come down to whoever. I don't think that with King there's going to be it's going to be up in the air. Like I think he's going to very clear. I thought he pretty clearly beat Jay Moore, even for how good the battle is, and I think very highly of what I'm saying, Jay Moore, even in comparison. So it's not like to be down on Z. I'm just as impressive.
He's a silent assassin, man. He's a silent assassin.
And for me personally, I feel like typically the people that end up winning these championships are the ones that went through the harder fights to get there. You know what I'm saying? You've been tested through the tournament. So by the time that you get to the finals, you already know what you have to show up with. If you've just been cruising through the tournament, you may, you know what I'm saying, you may have like, you know what I'm saying, some throwaways that you can use and whatever, yada, yada, yada. But when you've been in a fight from when you first came in to when you make it to the tournament, you're there. What are we saying? What are we saying? Football. The best football teams lose at least once or twice, or get into hard fights before they go in. They don't cruise into the playoffs because then they end up losing the first round. So I feel like King is well tested going throughout the tournament, the hardest part of the tournament, and making it to the finals. So that's another thing I think about too.
Smo, do me a solid, fam. Can you rank the trenches guys for me with Muwap, Tex, and these guys? Where do you rank them in your top order for me?
I'll go with the top four because I feel like I'll throw Muwap in there with the other three I was talking about. Because to be honest, that's the four. I mess with Dre too, you know what I'm saying? But they have a little bit more work that we can look at. So I ain't gonna lie, even if the accomplishments don't exactly match up, I'm gonna have King at 1 because I think he's about to win the tourney, so I got to give him that respect. But I might have Tex behind him, man. Like I think Tex has.
I do like Tex.
I'm gonna be fair too. I did have Jay Moore beating Tex. Like I genuinely thought, even though
I had Tex beating Jay Moore, though. I ain't gonna hold you.
I'm not mad at that because it was
debatable.
I personally had Jay Moore winning the battle, which just goes to show. I still have. I just think he's a little bit more unique, and obviously he has way less work compared to Jay Moore, who's really been around for a minute. I'm glad that he's been rebranded, but he's kind of where he's had his moments and then he's got a loss. Because I had heard that I want to see what happened with him and Deuce over a bullpen. I didn't like hearing that.
I remember cut your wisdom, but I asked him last week when he came on the show, Small, at the battle, and his body language is like 3. I could have done a little better. That's what he said. He could have done better.
And I mean, listen, for the way that he was getting talked about, it's cool to be the #1 hottest prospect. But then if I'm going to predict you to win more battles than I did before, when I hear that you're not kind of completing the results as you should, I got to see the battle still. But I think Texas got a little bit more. And then I got Jay Moore at 3, and I got Muwap pretty clearly at 4 behind them. But he's got some tools too. You know what I'm saying? He just hasn't impressed me as much as the other 3.
Sidebar fella, Easy said on my show today, he didn't want Jay Moore to take that battle with Deuce on bullpen today. So
they were talking about him. I mean, I forgot what event was it where I think Remy was even talking about maybe setting up a Jay Moore and T-Top. And I mean,
it was a trench. It was a trenches call.
You could get into the booking plan and conversations because there's so many different ways to go about it in battle rap. But particularly the position he was in, kind of like this later in your career, it's late that guys. It's rare when guys get rebranded like this late and everyone's rocking with them again. And I just thought maybe be a little bit more careful. But that footage isn't out yet. And I mean, there's going to be plates for him over there. I mean, they're going to make up the undercard in almost every card. So,
Len, should Jay Moore and T-Top be on this card?
No.
Okay.
The reason why I say that is because I'm not even trying to be harsh, but I feel like he didn't make it to the finals. So why would you then reward him by not making it to the finals by giving him T-Top on the card?
Fair enough.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about that. So yeah.
All right, fellas, go ahead, man. Zan versus C. Bree, the lyricist, Zan, the queen of the trenches, I can say. I was in the building there for the Chrome card when she battled Chirac. I don't know about you.
She surprised me.
I picked Chirac. Listen, what I said earlier, I did pick Chirac to be Zan, and I had to eat crow on that, and I was dead ass wrong on my prediction, right? She beat Taz in my opinion. How you guys feel about the Cash Flow Rizzy battle?
She low key, I'm gonna be real with you. Like, she wasn't clean. She lost because she wasn't clean. But it's one of those things where people were still saying Zan 2-1 because she said, like, in the footage, she has the good raps of the footage.
Yeah.
You would have won if it was just a material-based sport. You got to be clean. So I gave it to Cash Flow and a technicality, but it's one of those where even though it's messed up, it didn't matter for the winner because they won by default, and she did way more to impress. So she's looked good in all these performances, even if I don't got her winning.
And the main talking point for both battlers, right, is the cleanliness, right? They both have situations where they were not the cleanest. But to Zan's point, I feel like she surprised the heck out of me because we were talking about Chirac like kind of clearing her a little bit, maybe not dominating her, but clearing her.
Going
You know
into
what I'm
that
saying?
battle, she landed
Exactly.
number 6. I for sure thought Chirac was going to clear.
Me too. I had Chirac clear.
And it wasn't a situation where I felt like Chirac didn't come to play. It's just like Zan was just better. You know what I'm saying? Like she just really like upped her game in that battle. So
and the angle with the phone does help when you kind of put it. You know,
but I'm gonna say this though. I'm gonna say this though. Seabury the Lyrics is also beat Chirac. So
okay, so both of them got it common.
Both of them. I'm about to say now. Granted, I will say that it's a situation where like Chirac was a little bit more cleaner in the Zan battle, but nonetheless they both beat her, and they both had good performances against her. By the way, so for me personally, you know what I'm saying.
Seabreeze Trench's debut also.
Seabreeze Trench's debut. This is a huge opportunity for her. You know what I'm saying. Like she's been on Queen of the Ring before. You know what I'm saying. Her man
already, sir.
I'm just saying she's been on Queen of the Ring before. You know what I'm saying. Her main crown is on Bar Wars. We know what I'm saying. She does most of her work over there, but it's obviously a big look for her. I do have Seabury the Lyricist. I feel like they kind of mirror each other in the same way. They both are extremely aggressive, you know, can do the street talk too, you know what I'm saying? But what it comes down to is I just personally feel like Seabury is a little bit more lyrical than Zan. I think she raps a little bit better. You know, it's a situation where like I feel like they both are going to be really good. I think the battle's going to be debatable, but I do think that, you know, Seabury kind of outlast her when it comes to the material side, especially if they both kind of have the similar content to a degree. And I feel like she can kind of angle a little bit better too. So yeah, I'm going to see Bree 2-1 in a very good battle though. Zan has earned my respect from her last performance.
She hasn't, because you didn't pick her to win again. You didn't pick her to win. Back to back.
I mean, hey, I said last time it was clear. It's progression. Now I'm saying 2-1 debatable. Now I'm saying 2-1 debatable. You feel me? So
she earned respect. She earned my respect as well. Okay. And I do actually have her winning this battle going in, but I gotta agree with Lang. I think Seabury, if we're just talking content, probably like writes better shit. Like I think her material is a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it's two factors to take in. One, while that's good, they're both unclean, but Zan be like stumbly, glitchy, unclean, and Seabury be like round sold separately unclean sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like that's and it's crazy that we're comparing the level of choking, but it's just the reality of the matchup. You know what I'm saying? And then the other big thing is just the pure rapping ability of Zan. Listen, I don't know if Zan is the most all-around versatile with her attacks. You know, she pulled off the angle last battle. I thought that was a good look, but she raps her ass off. And sometimes, especially Philly Pit, if this is what it's looking like being, hey, man, that might be all it takes. You know what I'm saying? Y'all telling me Enos had a good performance in there, and he wasn't doing nothing but just rapping straight. And that's part of battle rap, bro. They don't put enough emphasis on that. Yes, sometimes the don't meet up, but some of these people just got great flows, and there's a reason that after 10 years, someone almost like a JSmo, right? She's having another kind of rebrand and look. So I got her beating Seabury. I just think that home field advantage, when we're talking about a battle that's this even, that's going to be the confidence she needs. You see, even though I had cash flow winning, I'm going to be real. Most people don't even care about the chokes. They still got Zan, and it's because of them pockets she be hitting. She's adding the haymakers. I'm seeing her get a little better every battle. So I got her winning this one. If Seabury wins, like I said, wouldn't be the craziest, but the home game gives me.
I'm going exactly everything you said, sir. The home game, the queen of the trenches.
We'll return after the event's over.
Zan know what this is, and let me ask y'all a question. If Zan pulls this off, fellas, what's a good name for Zan? Yeah, she battled E-Hart back in the day and all that. We know she battled Lady Caution or Battle Academy and all that. But what's a good name for her, being that she's bubbling a little bit, so to speak, and we're paying attention more? No? She's making
that's a good question, honestly.
It's just a matter of do it too, because when you talk because like I wouldn't be mad at her in QB. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think
that would be dope.
At some point, even though QB's gonna be the favorite, let's be real, when you get to that level of names, Zan's not gonna be the favorite no matter what. So it's gonna be a big challenge. But especially when I just think of kind of like the movement, like Lady Talent that's kind of moving over there, might pop up on a card like the Trenches or Chrome. The QB, they both get in their disrespect bag too, even though we don't want it too much, but them particularly do it more often. So that might be my pick, man.
I would say QB or maybe a Shuni or something like that, you know, with her being very aggressive, you know what I'm saying? They both got the similar talk or whatever. Obviously, they're different styles, but Shuni's more performative. But I would say it's Shuni or QB. QB was actually a pretty dope matchup for sure.
Okay. Let's talk about a battle that my man Smo said he has very interesting. Tex versus Riggs, fellas. Let's go ahead, man. These brothers, can I say this is a grudge match on the card?
They yelled at each other.
I'm about to say it's promoted. It's a promoted match.
It's got competitive energy. I feel like everybody they just get to yelling and call it a grudge. A grudge match is when like I care on a deeper. Not that I don't, but I'm saying their beef is just them yelling. There's not that long term history.
This ain't Snake Eyes versus Riggs. Can I say that? We know that. That's not.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah. You got the King of the Trenches, like you were saying, that kind of title on it, and to me, that's the exciting part. Like that's the part that gets me that like makes me care about the battle. Is that whole? Are they battling for really #1 of the trenches? I don't know if that's true, but they got the title on it.
Was Riggs the King of the Trenches when
he says it?
I think. Well,
against Philly dudes, he beat.
I'm about to say. I mean, I didn't really, because I don't know if I'll go King of the Trenches, but he most definitely had, you know, one of the clearer dominant wins on both of the Trenches cards that he was on. You know what I'm saying? Against Kaboom, against K Walker. You said what?
Didn't he start that talk? I think he's the one that first said, like, I'm King of the Trenches. I think that's the first time anyone.
Yeah, he for sure was one of the first people to initiate it, for sure.
You will come up with it, and no one else is going to challenge you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I like this battle a lot, actually. And truthfully, I think that they rap different, but I do see similarities. You know what I'm saying? Okay. That's what I like about it too. I think Tex is a little bit more on, you know what I'm saying, a little more of a street rugged type rapper, you know what I'm saying? Both of them are, but like obviously Riggs, you know what I'm saying, is a little bit more, tries to be a little bit more intricate with the wordplay and all that. A lot of people, you know what I'm saying, felt like Riggs lost against Snake Eyes, you know what I'm saying, in the last battle, which was supposed to be a major battle for him and all that. I personally thought he won, you know what I'm saying? I'm in the minority in that regard, but 3 don't do that. We got a conversation off. We got a conversation after that. But general consensus is he lost the battle, right? So obviously he kind of has to get some get back in some way, shape, or form. And what better way to do it against you know, up and comer that's, you know, trying to, you know, so to speak, take your title away from you as the King of the Trenches. I really like this battle. I think this battle is going to be extremely debatable. We've been kind of doing the trend of, you know, the up and comer is going to beat the vet. I'm going the other way this time. I actually have Riggs 2-1. I think that he's gonna go. I think he's gonna go back to what he does best, which is the flow pockets, the wordplay, the back-to-back punching and stuff like that. And I think it's gonna be a good battle. It might even be a style clash with just how different they kind of rap. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going Riggs 2-1. He hasn't given me a reason to think he can't win. You know what I'm saying, in this battle. So I'm going Riggs 2-1.
What you got, Smoke?
I'm gonna look like the Trenches ambassador, man. I got Tex in this one 2-1. I do think it's gonna be a pretty good battle though, and I like when Riggs is kind of, I guess, battling down has to be the word for it, right? When he's battling someone, maybe battle K Walker. You could debate they might be at the same level.
Kaboom.
Yeah, he was good versus Kaboom. He was good versus
Slash on Maxell.
And then he gets in front of Snake Eyes and a career history in front of when he's been in front of JC and Geechee. That's obviously another level from there. But I just think that when you get to a certain level with Riggs, we see the limitations. But in this battle, I feel like it's one of those. He's once again going to be more well-rounded, like a J Slash matchup, like a K Walker, etc., than the opponent he's in front of. But I really just believe that Tex raps different. We talk so much in battle rap, and I don't know. I'm gonna put it in new star talk, but new talent in general. We always hear, like, we want to hear someone that's different. And maybe it's oversaid, the punch era, this and that. But every battler that we love that's gotten to be a top tier, unique sound. Like, even if they kind of do something to someone else, you hear their sound, it's them. There's really not anyone that raps like Tex. Not to say he's elite automatically off that, but truly he has his own sound. And Riggs can get in a bag where he's scheming and punching, but it's not always I've heard it before sometimes where he does kind of the spelled out word schemes. There's some of this stuff where he drags it a little bit, in my opinion. And that's where he kind of lost me versus Snake. And in a matchup here, you're on the road again, which you've been good before, but Tex is going to be maybe even hungrier, you know what I'm saying, than the last few guys you took on. He has a different energy. So maybe it's kind of, I don't have a lot of work to base off of. I really should predict Riggs, to be honest with you, but I just believe in what Tex is doing, man. So it's kind of my dark horse, my underdog pick. I could be wrong, I got Tex winning.
So the motivation aspect of this battle, right? I would probably lean more towards Tex, right? But I gotta think, fellas, that Riggs has to know he can't lose this battle. This to lose to Tex, my dude, that is upset of the year. No, listen, and here's why I say that. I got introduced to Tex from the Twitter Spaces in October of last year.
Yeah, he's new.
Verb was pulling people up there, and something you said that struck a chord to me. There was guys Verb was bringing up there, right? And like he said, he can't rap. His flow sound weird and shit, right? When they brought Tex up there, it was a totally different vibe. Like, damn, he sounded different compared to everybody else. You know what I mean?
It's fresh. Refreshing. That's what people say. Like, it's refreshing, especially, man, because I'll say it again, and some people don't always rap. Like, newer talent, sometimes when they're finding, especially in an era that's heavily, as it should be, punch influence, but you have a lot of people that are battle barring, but they're not always battle rapping. And one thing about Tex is, even if he's got something to figure out on the content front, you can figure out the approaches, and they want to punch more at an angle here. But just the rapping itself, I could listen to him not rapping an opponent, and it's just like good to listen to. The motherfucker can rap. So I got a lot of belief in that. That's always what separates it from me, is if you can just rap. That's the base, and then we can work from there. So
Riggs, you can't go down 0-2 in your next. Come on, bro. The Snake Eyes and Tex, how bad would that be?
It would be bad, but
2 battles when people picked him to win. A lot of people picked him to beat Snake Eyes. I did. I'm not going to lie up here.
Me too.
Snake going in on that one. One of the few I did. Snake always getting me, but I did have Snake going in and winning that battle. And Tex kind of presents a little. That's like, because I knew going in that a thing with Riggs is kind of getting barked on, maybe, and just like when it gets to a certain level where a guy has a little bit more of a presence. He shows that he's a pen in not the good ways that a pen are. You know what I'm saying? That they can kind of get barked on. They can kind of, they're performing around him. Just what they're saying is more impactful delivery. And Tex kind of has those features as Snake Eyes does, where he is over the top aggressive, and he might rap. I don't want to say he raps a little better, but maybe I like the sound a little bit more. So Riggs, you're not supposed to lose, no means, but it's more dangerous than you think.
Tex is the biggest battle of your career, sir. You graduate from this.
100%.
You know what I mean? So yeah. So I'm with Riggs.
I got Riggs 2-1-2.
Y'all both got Riggs, and
I got Riggs, man. All right, fellas. Averb versus Serious Jones. 2 legends on the card. Listen, I was in the space with Averb yesterday, and I let him know I have an issue, sir. The fact that you're gonna go promo hard with Ill Will, Swamp, and A-Ward, but you're not going to go that hard with Serious Jones in the promo. What are we expecting from this battle, fellas?
Well,
you go first.
Back and forth.
Yeah, you know I'm the diplomatic one. Okay, so let's just address the elephant in the room.
Yes, sir.
We were thinking of other matchups for Averb on this card. I don't want to say no names, but we were thinking of some other matchups for, you know what I'm saying, maybe some people he's called out before. And this is no slight to Serious, you know what I'm saying? Like you mentioned before, he's a legend and all that. Stylistically, I just don't like the matchup. I think Serious Jones typically does good in battles where it's more of a style clash, really. And then they're not, Averb and Serious Jones are not the same battler, but they can be both in that rapidy rap-ish bag to a degree, where like they're just rapping really good, you know what I'm saying? But I don't see the angle here. I don't really see the real history here, you know what I'm saying? And if this is an attempt for, you know what I'm saying, Serious Jones to kind of revitalize, you know what I'm saying, another his second win or whatever, I guess. But I was looking for another major fight from Verb, you know what I'm saying. This year it seemed like he was, you know, on his big fight campaign, Ill Will, Swamp, and all that. I'm thinking, okay, he's about to battle like another person in a major fight. And no slight to these two guys, they're legends, but I don't consider this a major fight. You know what I'm saying? I think this does more for Serious Jones than it does for Averb, if I'm being transparent. And like I said, this is no slight to Serious Jones. But if we're being transparent here, I think Serious Jones needs this win more than Averb does. Does Averb get stigmatized for losing this battle? Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? I think he's going to get a lot of slack for losing this battle. Go ahead, 3.
Let's talk, fellas. Let's go here. Are both these individuals on losing streaks?
I would say so.
Yeah, but I would say one is different than the other. This is why context matters, because you could argue that like Averb had great showings and his stock may have rose in like an A-Ward battle, or like even a lot of people think that him and Will was a good clash. I think Swamp was his only bad look, but you have the YouTube people that think otherwise. But Swamp is his only bad look for me. Whereas with Sirius, I feel like he was kind of embarrassed in the Geechee battle. You know what I'm saying? I felt like he should have. I feel like he should have fought way better in that battle. The Tay-Rock battle didn't go his way either, so different circumstances, right? I'm going Averb 2-1. If Sirius Jones wins, can I really be surprised? Not really, because he has pulled upsets out of thin air like multiple times. Him versus Ill Will, you know what I'm saying? I remember he beat Jims back in the day when Jims was favorite to win. Disaster, Sharon, like he's pulled upsets. So it's not. This is low key. This is in his wheelhouse, in a small room where he gets to rap and no one's going to interrupt him or whatever, and no one's going to heckle him or whatever. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying? This is right up his wheelhouse. But I just think at this point in time, Verb should win this battle. You know what I'm saying? So I got Verb 2-1. Don't really care for the matchup though, but I will give.
Enthused, my brother. Don't sound so enthused, please.
I don't know the angle here. I really don't know. I mean, Verb is very strategic. I don't know if this is a situation where like he's lining Sirius up or he genuinely wants to battle him. Like I understood the Head Ice thing years ago because they actually have history and all that. This battle, I'm not understanding the angle.
Man. That's kind of my. I think Verb going to get one on the board here. I think that's kind of the purpose of this battle. And it's kind of funny because listen, everyone says this every time we talk about him to show some respect, but it is true. Sirius Jones historically has like won more battles than he's lost. Like, and whether that footage is always good, that's another conversation we'll have another time. But results wise, he'd be getting it done more times.
Loss ratio.
Yeah, but I will say, the last two he got killed.
Right.
Well, that's not, what I'm saying? That's not good. Well, he did get killed versus Rock. I'm going to take that back. But I did have him losing, and I didn't like his performance. I didn't like Rock's performance too much either. I thought he did enough to win the battle. The Geechee battle, obviously, is the real rough one. But I got Averb similar to the Head Ice matchup. It's someone that he can do better. Like, neither of them are always going to be the most direct, right? Like, these older guys that rap really well, but maybe they're not always like going right at the opponent all 3 rounds. So
the anecdotal raps.
Yeah, for that reason alone, I really think that Sirius could win this battle. But I think Verb has been good. I got him losing his last 5. I got him good in like 3 to 4 of them though. Like really good, even like versus A-War's a debatable battle. He's great. So I've seen a higher level from him. I got him winning this one 2-1, if not 3-0. Like I said, there's just an image in my mind that really plays out just like the Head Ice battle, which was a volume. So it's not going to be the same as this, but that was pit style too. And I thought he just handled business versus someone like kind of his older era in a sense, right? But he showed how Verb, for all the shit he gets, he's a lot better developed to the newer era than a lot of older guys because he's active. So I actually got a lot of respect. I don't like the matchup. I would have preferred Av, he's talked about, right? Bad News. Even I give Av a lot of hell. He's got Moshe right now. Rum Nitty. He's always got a lot of Rum Nitty. So any of those I would have preferred. But we're here versus Sirius Jones. I think he is going to get a clear W on this one.
All right, fellas. Any worries or concerns about time limits when it comes to Averb? Because his last couple battles, he's let people dust his ass when it comes to time limit situations.
Well, Verb is always going to wrap the time limit. Very rare he didn't. Mook and Lux are the only times where he didn't. He just let it all hang out. You know what I'm saying? But he's always going to wrap what's contracted. On the flip side, we know Sirius can be a little bit long-winded. You know what I'm saying? So to your point, that very well could be a variable. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes Sirius
around too, though.
That's what I was going to say. Sometimes Sirius can wrap himself out of a round. You know, so. We'll see if it does more harm than good. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Would it shock you? We talk Jones 2-1 on the strength of he got more bars off in a particular round or some shit like that.
He could just beat Verb. I mean, it's possible he could just beat Verb straight up. Like if Verb is super indirect, which he does sometimes, where Verb pulls up with 3 rounds that's just not about the opponent, and it's good rapping, but it's just not about the opponent. And if Sirius is more direct, I've seen him beat JC in a volume. We said we've seen him beat Ill Will, and he didn't beat Ill Will when like Ill Will was a rookie. He beat him like 2018. So he's beat
2019,
rappers in some tough situations. If there's one thing though, especially since he's had so many returns in a sense, right? But since this return, and this is just an opinion, say of a non-rapper, right? But the scheming is what's killing him. I mean, because it's just an era where I feel like, you could get skipped. We still hear schemes all the time, but this isn't 2015 no more. It's kind of how easy it is to do the word association stuff. It's not getting love like that. Like schemes don't get the love they used to. And I'll never forget versus Geechee. I thought when he really lost the crowd is in that second round, he had the pistachio.
He got chastised for that.
And listen, especially going in, people are already looking at you like we're looking for a bad bar from him because he's kind of given a few of those air balls that we remember. So people are going to be jumping to joke at you. You can't give them a freebie like a St. Louis team scheme, or God forbid he does any type of Philly any Philly schemes that Clips hasn't done. You know what I'm saying? When he's over there. So I feel like if he stays away from that, I feel like there could be a good path to victory, but I feel like he hurts himself more than his opponent does in a lot of these battles. So he's got to change that.
And for me, if we're talking keys of success, he needs to lean. And again, this is coming from a non-rapper, non-battle rapper, but a person that studies the game.
Right.
He needs to lean heavily on the success talk. Typically, when he goes into his legend bag and success talk, he does good. And on top of that, you disagree?
I agree with you. My question is this now, because you said something that light bulb. How much accolades talk are we going to get with these two fellas?
I mean, we get a lot from both of them. But I'm saying that, but at least, the way that Sirius has done it historically has been good though. Like I'm not a legend because what I've done. I'm a legend because who I am. Like stuff like that against Ill Will. Like if he can lean into that bag and like just try to rap and not let people affect his performance. That's another thing too. He's easy to derail. You know what I'm saying? Especially if entourages, crowds, and stuff like that. So his best performances is when he's laser focused and just rapping. You know what I'm saying? And in an environment where it's going to be pit style, he may have a good performance. So I don't know, but I have Verb too, though.
Verb first time in Philly, right? Is Verb ever battling in Philly? Am I tripping, guys?
I mean, he hasn't been on another Philly leagues I can think of. Battle Academy or nothing. Maybe a way back in the day, a league.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to look. Yeah.
Verb 2-1. I got Verb 2-1.
Yeah.
I got Verb 2-1. I can see it 3-0 for real too. I don't think that's impossible. I might even lean towards it, but we'll wait to get closer to you.
All right, next battle, fellas. The co-main event. I'm so happy for this guy right here.
It's the real main
versus Hollow the Don. And let me just say this. I interviewed Av a couple of days ago, and the one thing he said that stood out to me, that Hollow wants this battle. Hollow went out his way to make this battle happen. You know what I mean? I spoke volumes of me. I think last time Hollow had a battle in Germany recently. Didn't he have a battle in Germany?
Yeah, he battled Quill. Crazy that a Hollow battle just came and went, but I mean, it is in Germany, so that's not,
His last battle, but it was against Twerk.
It was Quill and Twerk, yeah.
I had Twerk win that battle. How'd you guys call that?
I mean, he won.
Yeah. Twerk won, and then before that, a lot of people have him losing to the Source as well too. Yes. Pretty up and down year last year, truthfully. I mean, but one thing I did appreciate from Hollow is the activity for sure. When someone like a Hollow can step out more than once in a year, you know what I'm saying, it shows a multitude of things. But for me personally, he's back inspired. You know what I'm saying? And I think this matchup is dope for multiple reasons. It was one of the first shout out to Champion Goals, one of the first compendiums that we did. We've been projecting this battle since 2022. You know what I'm saying? So they've had back and forth before. You know what I'm saying? Av threw a solid diss on them on the top tier track. You know what I'm saying? So major build up, right? And then it's also the prototypical style clash, the puncher going against someone that's of a higher inch line, a little bit more multifaceted. So that plays a role too.
Did Hollow do good against punches though?
I mean, I think he's even killed. You can say punches give him fits for sure, but I think he's even killed. But another thing I will also say about this battle, what I really love about this battle is just legacy, right? Because I feel like this is a situation where all of us be in spaces. All of us remember when Av was in the spaces, and you had the likes of Calico, Verb, Hollow kind of talking down on him like he's not of that caliber or whatever, even though he's accomplished so much. So yeah, it's a lot to prove, you know what I'm saying? And this is one of those legacy stamping moments that Av can have in his, in his arsenal. But what I will say about Hollow is, and Smo might disagree or agree, I don't know. He's very Smo's views on Hollow.
I got a lot of harsh.
I'm about to say it,
but for me, on Hollow.
I'm about to say relationship with you and Hollow. Is that what it is?
I have a lot of strong opinions. But, fair, though. We'll talk about it.
But for me personally, Hollow does do a great job of molding his style for his opponent, right? I don't think you're really going to see the same Hollow every battle, honestly. And yeah, it should be alarming that Hollow really wanted the battle. You know what I'm saying? It's been a while since he really wanted a battle. There's been a couple times where he's been put in the battle, because the battle makes sense or whatever. But I think this is a situation where we're going to see a good performance from both of them. I have Av 2-1 off of pure adulterated motivation. He knows what this battle means to him. He knows the opportunities that he can get after this battle. And I think he's tired of the disrespect. And to Smo's point, Hollow is a great neutralizer, but he's also susceptible to being outlasted by punchers. You know what I'm saying? So in a situation where I feel like Av has become a little bit more multifaceted, adding a little bit of a talking to your opponent bag, into his arsenal. He's a lot more dangerous. I feel like Hollow should have took him in 2022. Now he's garnered momentum and added new stuff to his arsenal, and now he's even more equipped against you. So
is this Av's biggest battle besides Rock and Arsenal?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Arse battle.
I'm about to say
you could. The Rock battle is an SM main event, and it's not a lot of people that's got those. But I'd be lying to you if I didn't feel like this is more important.
Yeah,
just particularly to his career. Usually, I'm gonna go with the SM main event, of course. But in terms of the people he really ran down and called out, because Av since about 2020, 2021 was very vocal about having a hit list about every 6 months, and we knew Verb was a name that frequented. And let's be honest, I think a lot of us thought that would be the signature plate for Av. That eventually he'd get that. And that would be the one.
It's December 2019, Smo.
Yeah, and then him and Twerk is just a cursed battle. It's 4 different flyers out there. You know what I'm saying? You can make a collage, and this battle still doesn't happen. But Hollow is that other one that he ran down Hollow for a minute. And I was saying it makes sense on this card and this card and this card, and they built it up. The biggest battle of his career, and I'm gonna say something that it could be dramatic, but in a sense, his legacy is on the line a bit here. No. What he cemented can't be taken away. So I'm not saying if he loses, we think different about the Av we saw. He's already a Hall of Fame talent off of those accomplishments. But this is that next level one. This is what, you know what I'm saying? In a sense, hopefully it's not going to turn out this way, I don't think, but this is the
JSmo.
This is those big battle moments, those Rock and Hollow when he got, and I'm gonna be real, I've always said up until the Rock battle, Hollow all the way till 2016, he might just be the best battle rapper ever.
He was
just in terms of the work, he was just that. I do not think he's been the same guy 2016 and forward. And sometimes is better than other times, but I don't think he's that guy. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't been, and I've doubted him, particularly in some of these EFB matchups. And I got to say, just preference style, there's some things about his style I don't like that other people love. A lot of people love. So I already know.
Is it the voice projection?
That some of the air balls, sometimes I can feel like he's being witty with the lines, but some of them can be outdated in my opinion compared to people who are having some of the fresher, material of the battle. But he just has an old approach to it. He's a great angler. I can never take that away from him, and that's going to help him, I think, a lot in this battle. So there's people that would debate that he's beaten all of EFB even to this point, right? If we're talking about people similar to Adam, there's people that would debate that he's Geechee, I think consensus-wise is a pretty clear win. I got to respect that. And then Danny and Nitty are 2 debatable battles. I don't got him winning those battles, but some people do got him winning those battles. You know what I'm saying? And I think that this Av one can end up like that. Plus, I think it has all the situation to be better than those 3 battles. So I'm expecting the Hollow that we kind of got for Ill Will. Granted, it's another battle I got him losing, but he did really good in that battle. You know what I'm saying? He did very good. So I think it's one where Av, all the attention's on you, man. Hollow's going to be good. He has the ability to diffuse him, but I think if both of them are at 100, if you look at their last 2 years of work, and I pull out the 3 best Av performances compared to the 3 best Hollow performances, it's not really close. No disrespect to Hollow. He's even getting probably a better record. He's getting bigger moments, harder opponents, right? But in terms of just the quality, Av has all the tools he needs to win this battle. It's just a matter if Av is going to win the battle. So I got Av 2-1 going in, but listen, it's an all-around talent like Hollow versus Puncher. I could never say, like, count him fully out.
Lang, a win for Hollow does what against Av for him?
It reaffirms that he's still dangerous. I feel like a lot of people, I feel like, especially to Smo's point, he hasn't been the same post-Rock battle. So a lot of people still consider him to be an all-time great, maybe even still God tier. But he's shown that, you know, he can bleed, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like it kind of helps him in a degree because he's been trending towards the right direction. You know what I'm saying? 2021, the K-Shine battle, not a good performance, but he won. You know what I'm saying? 2020, 2023, the Ill Will battle. He's in battles where, like, it's a good look for him, but he's not clearly winning. You know what I'm saying? I would go on record saying that it's time for him to get a clear win against a top tier opponent. So for me personally, I do think that it would do wonders for him, you know what I'm saying, in terms of how people would view him now. But the thing I wanted to talk about really quick is that one thing I will say about Av is not me, but there's a fair share of people that would say that, like, sometimes when Av gets into the back-to-back punching bag, it can be kind of redundant. And then when he goes against somebody that's a little bit more what's the word I want to use? Colorful or maybe multifaceted. There's a style contrast. A lot of people would use the example of the B-Dot battle or the T-Top battle or stuff like that. Right. So when it comes to outbarring his opponent, he can do that all day, 100%, 100%. And I'm not even telling Av that he has to, you know, go against what brought him to the dance. But if he's going to do what he does, he has to do that to the highest degree. He can't be just like, it can't be a regular performance, because you're not only dealing with going against someone that's multifaceted, but you're also dealing with somebody that has, I don't know what it is. It's like crowd control without even performing, but like people automatically expect Hollow to neutralize. So they're examining you to a different degree before the battle even happens. You know what I'm saying? So he's also going to battle that aspect of it too. But yeah, no, that's the only thing I would say in Hollow's defense. He's an all-time angler, top 5 angler. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to style breakdowns, not very many that can break down people as good as Hollow. So yeah.
So let's stay with Hollow right quick. I don't know how you guys feel, but from going back to when he battled Philly Swain back in the day, 106 in Park back in the day, battling Grind. I used to watch him in Passwords on a fucking regular basis and shit.
Classic battle.
His mouth jawed up against when he battled Awkwards and all that shit. And when he transformed to URL, I was happy for him to go to URL, right?
Big T.
7 times and shit like that. So what's up, man? You wasn't feeling it?
No, he smoked the hell out of Big T.
That's an all-time performance.
Listen, I could say there's some battle rappers I'm not always going to prefer, but listen, greatness is greatness. The man at one point was just the best ever. Like, that's how he was
top 3.
And the Big T performance is the reason why I love that performance. So,
how you guys feel about the Surf battle?
I think he won.
He won, but it was shaky. Even if a battler himself say the battle was shaky, then it's shaky. It was a shaky battle. You know what I'm saying? What were you saying, Sean?
Surf and Hollow was a shaky battle?
Yeah, he said him and Surf was a shaky battle, but he felt like he won.
I always thought Surf won, and I feel like this is one of those clear ones where I feel like fans sometimes they just don't always accept it. So you always have like a majority yelling, but Surf's first is the best round of the battle. It's damn near better than the rest of the battle combined. His first is so good. But Surf was not, his effort wasn't all the way there. That's the Earn and Ash. That's the MMG. The MMG one's worse. We talk about Earn and Ash when we meet
Durango.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I thought Hollow actually executed angles. I've always thought Hollow won the last 2 rounds of that battle clear, and that just kind of goes to show what's the best bars you remember from that battle. They're probably on Surf's side, right? A lot of people but Hollow just figures it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody makes a mistake on their side, and he just does enough to get by. So, I mean, he's a strategist, bro. He is the textbook. Like, if there was an example of battle rap strategist, he doesn't even have to necessarily be good to win. Like, what better strategy is there than that? So I always thought he cleared Surf.
Are we saying his last battle as a culture, we stood by the campfire saying for 1 round, 2nd round, 3 rounds, was it against Lux? Whether he's only won or lost is a different story, right? Or was it against
his last great 3-round performance?
Yes, sir.
I would say you could throw Rock in there, you could throw Pat Stay in there. I would probably say the Pat Stay battle. I felt like his second for Rock wasn't the greatest, but I would say the Pat Stay battle was like his last great 3-round performance. So
I mean, he was even. I got him losing versus Will, but he's really good versus Will.
He was really good versus Will.
Be real,
sure.
I mean, I don't know if you'd say great, but versus Geechee, like, you know, he's had performance.
He was solid. His first 2 rounds were solid.
It's not like he's void of these like great 3-round. What'd you say?
No. I thought you said the first round against Geechee.
No, I was gonna say it's not like he's void of these great 3-round performances. But my thing is, there's just such a difference when you talk to like Hollow fans, that like really are Hollow fans, and when you talk to everyone else. Like, there's people that just don't have Hollow losing like in the last like 4 years. So like, it hasn't been his best, but he's still proven he's above the competition. And you're not like being real. You know, people got beaten DNA. It's madness. So I get kind of, as per usual, I get more annoyed with like a fan base than I necessarily do the battler. He's still got moments, like, it's just not as consistent versus Geechee and versus Will. But in terms of greatness, like, I mean, like his last 3 iconic rounds, I'd probably go to Rock battle. I mean, that was
Lang, the fact that we've never seen Hollow against Mook and Rex, does that bother you at all, or you don't care, or you just over it, or what is it?
I feel like we had this conversation about Hitman, and I feel like Hollow's in the same category. I feel like he's solidified without those battles. Now, what I want to see it, I would want to see it in good circumstances. I would want to see him battle Mook and with actual momentum behind the battle. Him and Rex would still be a dope battle, but I don't think it's needed. Yeah. And I don't mean to say it in a way where like we would love to see the battle. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying like it's not.
I don't know, man.
I was disappointed when he said that him and Mook fell through. I know I might be in the minority, but when he was in the car talking about
that, he said that, and how many years has it been since that? You know what I mean? Like, it's so we're saying like I don't think that at all. I don't think either of those styles mix. Definitely not him versus Mook, although we understand why there was talk about that. Because at one point, him or Mook was an acceptable answer for the GOAT. So it was like okay, like that makes sense. And then him
passed already, man.
Yeah, and then him or both of those have passed. I do agree with Lang, though. It's one of those, I mean, legacy-wise, like I said, you know, some all-time stuff, I think his body of work supersedes both of them. But that's one of them matchups, you know, where we're not going to get you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, Kobe and Bron in the finals. There's some things we never got just because at the time we never got it. It's just one of those we're not going to get.
Does the culture give Av enough props for his win against Tay-Rock, or we sweep it under the rug like it didn't happen?
Well, I think that so it was a lot of things that came into play. Obviously, Summer Madness 13 wasn't the best Summer Madness. It was in the middle of the road, so you have that aspect of it. The battle was kind of long too. And on top of that, I just feel like there was a lot of other things clouding that battle, unfortunately. I feel like a lot of people consider that battle to be a good battle. A lot of people consider that battle to be debatable. And someone like myself who thought that would be like the one to get Av over, I guess it just wasn't the one, unfortunately. Sometimes it happens that way. You know, but this one right here, though, this is the one. This is the one that he could really, really make a statement with this battle. And the crazy thing about it is there's been a couple of times I felt like a battle was going to put him over. I thought what he did against Arsenal on Gnome 9 was going to be the one to like put him over. And they didn't let that go on YouTube. So I don't know. Maybe it's battle rap conspiracy. I don't know. But I know for sure that this battle in particular.
I want Twerk to have the battle. I hope Twerk. He wants Twerk. You want rematches, sir? How about you schedule a battle with Av first, my guy? Before he's going to your rescheduler.
I feel like every time that Av and Twerk combo come up, all of a sudden it's a little quiet, and there's, you know, people going in different directions, mentioning other matchups. I feel like that's when, listen, it's got 4 flyers, like I said, like it's like eras of flyers, and that's a no-brainer. It's one of, and especially when both of them at this point, they both got great resumes. Obviously, Twerk's is a little more extensive, but what's one of the last great top tiers, just regular top tiers, he's in battle as each other. So that one makes itself make sense. And as for the Rock battle, I am one of those that thinks it's more of a debatable battle. I know a lot of people had Av, and listen, it's kind of, he did great and he rapped long as hell, but it did one of two things. It kind of cooked the footage a little. It's still a good battle, but 9-minute rounds, man. Unless you're being perfect. Chess's first versus Tay-Rock, I think of. Like, that's a long-ass round.
But it's great.
Well, you don't think it's long because it's just he was amazing. But if you even have a minute of dry material in a 9-minute round, you know, so I always thought that you could debate Rock got the first 2 rounds of the battle, but I'm surprised it didn't do more for him either. His main event, and he was really good. Like, it's not even whether you got either winning or losing. A lot of people got him winning. He was really good, but the hollow one is just a matter of maybe don't think rapping long, maybe, but you know, I can't really tell, you know, what the difference would be. But hopefully this one, you know, maybe 40-minute battle and you just handle business when 2 of those rounds clear. I'd find it hard to believe that wouldn't be the crowning battle for him, because this hollow one, I can't stress it enough how much this is the one. Like, other ones could be great after this, but they're going to talk about this one no matter what happens before or after, man. So, and
on top of that, we talked about this just last week. Av has been on a kill streak, but he needs like matches like these. Yeah. Matches like these is what really sparks the talk. You know what I'm saying?
Kill him back. A lot of these matchups, and listen, he's handling business clear. He's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. So I'm not down on him. But when people ask, is he top in this combo right now, or is it one of the top 3 years you've seen? How many of these guys do I think can kill him back? I haven't, for the most part. It's still not easy to win no years in a row. Let's not get that messed up. That's difficult in itself, but that's why it's about who you fought as much. And that's a quote that some people take a little too far. They take it a little too far. Some people will everything if it's not a top name, but dog, like, that's a real, like, your best fights are going to be against the other best fighters. Those are the ones that matter. Those are important. You can kill 8 mid-tiers in a row. We're going to give you credit. We're going to put you on lists. We're going to do types of things. But if you want to be considered top, go kill a killer. It's that simple.
Facts. Super facts. All right, fellas. Main event, Easy the Block Captain versus Ill Will, one of the most complete, diverse battle rappers of all time. I had Easy the Block Captain on earlier. He did not like what I said in his last 3 battles. He's either 0-3 or 1-2.
Good interview, by the way. 3 great interviews.
Yeah, great interview. You know what's crazy? I already like this battle, but I like it even more because how motivated Easy is. I have like I've seen him be motivated before, but I don't know. This battle seems a little bit like he's on his promo. He's on Instagram, Twitter, talking about something. I got to remind people what I do. You know what I'm saying? So it's always dope to see a battler in that type of bag. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm being transparent, before
they're gonna butt.
Yes, before I'm gonna keep it real. But before the streak ended, I was one of the people that said Ill Will was gonna be the one to beat his streak. So I had this premonition prior to the streak actually ended. And the reason why is because you just alluded to it. Ill Will is one of the most diverse battlers in battle rap. He can tap into any bag. He can rebuttal. He can freestyle. He can joke. He has a good pen, but he can be a heavy puncher too. He has charisma. He can promo. He can do a bunch of different stuff or whatever. He can street talk. He can do a bunch of different stuff. And I feel like in this moment in time, it was figured it out, because like early on, it was like he had his problems with airballing, you know what I'm saying? He had his problems with, like, you know what I'm saying, mailing it in certain rounds and stuff like that. I mean, and granted, he had the situation with Pain, which I don't really appreciate at all. I know it was whatever the circumstance was, you know, whatever, you got to come 100% in all of your battles. But for the most part, in these high quality matchups, this guy is showing, improving every showing. His performance versus Hitman it may not have been put in that conversation because it ended up being battle of the year, but that's as perfect as you're gonna get against a Hitman. You know what I'm saying? Like every dimension of battle rap that you like, he had in that battle. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, and also just, you know what I'm saying, another major matchup, you know what I'm saying, that he's a part of. Yeah, man, it's hard for me to go against Will, and I know Easy is in Philly. He's going to be very amped up, pit style. He's probably going to be, you know what I'm saying, have a really good performance. Probably one of his best performances in, you know what I'm saying, about 9 months. You know what I'm saying, but I just think Will is very multifaceted. He has a lot to go off of, you know what I'm saying, in terms of material. And yeah, man, I just feel like this is one of those battles where, you know, I feel like Easy's going to be great, but Will is just going to be that much better. You know what I'm saying? I got Will 2-1 in a very, very dope battle. Because everybody shows up against Will. Everybody is going to give a great performance against Will. You know what I'm saying? And with Easy being motivated, it's not going to be no walking apart for Will, especially in Philly. Like it's not going to be that. But I got Will 2-1. Will 2-1.
Hey, listen, man. It's another one of those. I think Av versus Hollow for me is damn near makes the card itself. Then you just add Easy versus Will, which is going to go down as the main event. That's crazy. And Easy does not take anything but killers, man. You also got to say that. I mean, the resume, he does it the right way in terms of those 4 to 5 battles a year, but each one of them is something to check off. And I expect him to be the best that he's been. I'm not going to say in a minute. I do got him losing his last 3. He clearly lost 2 of them. He clearly lost to Gotti and Clips. And then the John one is debatable. Debatable. I'm not mad at you. Most of those voting polls had him. There's just no other way around it. I saw it with my eyes, but it's not by a lot though. It's like 60-40. So I ain't mad at nobody. You know what I'm saying? She say if he's telling I won. Listen, you got more than a good case for it. You should debate that. But I personally had him losing that one. I thought that was the best performance of the 3 as well. So I think he gets back into that bag where he's just really, really good. I expect greatness from him. He had the best winning streak I ever seen. I think it's him, and I think it's Clips in the early 2010s. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going with Easy. So that just goes to show best in the world combos. We know what he was doing. But the last few, it just seems like he's been a little off his game. And the Clips one is more about outside of the ring stuff, which I give him a lot of credit for doing the battle. Even though that'll go down as the bad loss, like where he's at mentally. So he says he's good. And if he says he's good, I'm expecting him to be great. And he's been good on his league too. He was great versus Reed. He isn't, but he's been caught in Philly a couple times, right? That's the other thing. Granted, Geechee was in South Jersey. It's Philly to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Jersey. So it is what it is. But my thing with Will is just he's a big match fighter. And if you look at his last few big matches, and I consider Easy of that because of just the way he is, even though he's new era. I'm not saying that rank legend wise, he's with but just in terms of the importance, everything he does is important. And when Ill Will's in important battles, you get Ill Will versus Calico. That's the best battle in RBE to me. But it's a classic, no matter how you call it. You get him versus Daylight. He got busy and he beat Daylight. Him versus Hitman, one battle of the year. I believe we awarded that to him. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Him versus Hollow just went down. We saw him versus Verb, and I thought he might have 30 Verb. You could debate 2-1, you know what I'm saying? But that's what he does in big fights. So if I'm guaranteed to get the best version of one of the best in big fights, that makes it really, really hard for me to like go against him off rip. And then you add kind of the turmoil Easy's had going into the battle. I got Ill Will 2-1 edge, and I think a lot of people are going to predict this clear for Will, but they should be very careful about that because at some point, listen, Easy took some tough hits in the public eye view and stuff, right? But at some point, I think he's a great. And I've seen him be not just regular, like great top tier. I've seen him look like someone that could be almost a GOAT candidate with his trajectory. And that talent has not changed. I think maybe didn't handle some things great that kind of came back to bite him. Narratives that the public casted that you fed into, let's say, right? Like there's some stuff like that that's almost out of his control I think all that's done. I think we're getting back to just the rapping enough with all that other stuff. And he's going to face some angles that he's heard of recently. You know what I'm saying? I think
yes, he is. And that's before I want to piggyback what you said, Smo. I really believe because talking to Easy, he's making it sound like at some point the Remy Mob thing got to die down. But this is ill what we're talking about. The comedic
absolutely.
side. Absolutely. This man is not about
bro. This man made way
in a different way though. You know, like a lot of people have attacked him. What happens if Will takes the comedy route with it? Because nobody's done that yet. And my thing is that I've seen the approach of like it's corny. So like it's corny to death, and eventually that's not. I mean, it's just not working. You know what I'm saying? Right. But I'm not expecting him to go in there either. Like some people want him to go and give a round of his side of the story, and that's where it does get dark. We're not talking about all the details of life. It don't even got to be that true. Flip a
so you're not into counterlining though. You're not into that smoke. You don't want to.
No, I'm with it, but I'm not. My thing is, it's to an extent. I understand from his perspective. He's not about to go and tell the whole saga from his. That could be ridiculous, and that could make you look worse. But just a little 4-bar, you know, he tried in the first round versus Geechee. He actually got pretty good reception for it. May not age as well, but something like that where people just a 2 to 4 bar. I mean, some people at this point are just not going to like the guy. I don't think he's lost battles specifically because of the hate, but when you're that popular, you also have a lot of people that aren't going to rock with you either way. So there's got to be a middle ground. You're not about to rap half a round and take away fully from it. Something though, because I've seen you do this with every other angle in your career except this one. If you hadn't done it 12 times correctly before, I wouldn't ask of you to do it a 13th time, but it would seem like now would be the time, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and real quick, to that point, bro, Ill Will versus Johnny Alcatraz. like that's a prime example of like he can bar you out, but he can also just have a round just wilding on you about the smallest thing, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. And then my thing is like just the entertainment factor. And another thing I noticed when it comes to Easy is that we talked about strategists earlier. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Easy is a student of the game. I'm giving him a lot of credit for that because the way he was able to go on this streak was by him studying his opponent and finding ways to win in that route, right? But here's the thing: when he goes against, and I'm not trying to make an over generalization, but when the more competitive battles that he were in were people that were bar heavy, like the chess battle. I think I ain't gonna front. I'm on an island, but I do think him and Danny was a debatable battle. I know people give Easy to win, but I think the battle's debatable too. I would say the Fonz battle. You know what I'm saying too. So it's a couple.
Let's get on record. Did Fonz beat Easy? I want to go on record with y'all.
Yeah, I mean he won the judge, and I personally have Fonz second and third. You know what I'm saying? In a great battle, classic battle in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So, but I say that to say, Ill Will is not only a person that is bar heavy, but he's also a person that is multifaceted. He can do a bunch of different things. Right. So even if it's a situation where you may have a great approach against Ill Will, what can Ill Will do in the next round? Rebuttal what you're saying and then make you look like a clown. Like right. It's just like I don't know. I just think Ill Will just does a lot of things. But at the same time, I have seen Ill Will in situations though when the crowd is not rocking with him or he's not getting the momentum that he usually gets, he kind of not mails it in, but you can tell like it's affecting him, and he kind of loses his momentum from there.
He's a big game battler, and listen, for the last few years, I mean, he's been great in that spot, but he's lost some. Not just lost battling down. I'm saying he's lost to his peers. Granted, a lot of it is more his URL era type of stuff, right?
Right.
2015 to 2017, right? But there's more than we're doing a lot of pro will, and just the way that the momentum is going into this battle, it's much easier to talk about the reasons why Ill Will's probably going to win the battle. But I mean, Easy the Block Captain it's one of those where even off a bad season, he's top 10 in the world at the least. You know, it's one of those. If somebody has a bad season, his floor is still top 10. So
he gotta win this battle. He gotta win this battle, though, right?
I mean, he had to win.
Today's a must win.
But it's not just about winning. It's not just about winning. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say must win in a sport where he could just have a great debatable again. And it might be tough if votes don't go his way again, that's a pattern that's just tough. Now, that's a convo you will have to get to when we get there, right? But if it's a great battle, I ain't gonna get at nobody for no great battle. Even when I had John winning at the time, like I think over time because he lost to Clips, the John battle looks worse, but that was a good look for him. Like he was
Smo, feel me on this, Smo. I told this man today, Lang, either you're 1-2 or 0-3, and that's what the culture has you right now, right? He did not like that at all, right? So I mean, we're all media here, right? We pick wins and losers in battles, right? So I'm only saying this to my guys here that I feel Easy has to win this battle. And so I feel you make it debatable. You're right, but I think he has to get a signature win after Three's last three, man.
Well,
a clear W on Ill Will is a tall.
It's hard.
I'm not mad at you for saying that though, because after you've done what you've done in your last three, hey, fuck it, life's tough. You know what I'm saying? Like you just gotta fix it. Right. But it's great if it's one of the 5 or 7 best battles of the year. I'm not saying battle of the year, right? Because I don't think that's getting touched. But if it gets up into that 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 convo, I mean, I ain't finna hold it against you because you didn't clear one of the other best. But it's got to be like that. If it's not the battle of the night, incredible contested battle, then it's got to be a win. Because God forbid, man, he loses that battle 2-1 or something. I don't know.
I mean, He needed to win the Clips battle. We were saying that he better not lose the Clips. So this is not the only time I feel like he was in a situation where he was supposed to win and he didn't win.
So I mean, you're saying it continues.
But he for sure needs to win this time. That's what I'm saying. But at the same time, the likelihood of it,
like the Clips. Yeah. There's no way he's gonna get killed more in this battle, like by online, because he had no business losing to Charlie Clip. You know what I'm saying? Right. Even and Clips was pretty good, but I don't want to hear, bro, that was not T-Rex Clip. That's all. Like he still could have beat that like Charlie Clip. So I don't think it could get almost in a sense more like, I don't want to say super embarrassing, but that was tough. You know, like we were all expecting to be. Clips lost like his last like 10 before that. So it can't be worse than that, but it's hard to believe he'll lose 4 in a row too. So while I'm predicting,
I'm only picking him to beat Ill Will because this brother can't lose 4 in a row.
Yeah, wait. You have Easy to win after the whole time of us you agreeing with us.
I'm picking Easy 2-1 in Philly. Now guess what? I got him losing his last 3. I got him losing to John. We got some big argument about that shit. I got him losing to Charlie Clips and Geechee Gotti. He said it today.
Give though, because he's beat people of Ill Will's level. I mean, I watched the man clear out K-Shine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you could do that. You could go get Ill Will. So if he wins, bro, I'm not going to sit here and act like it's an upset or anything like that.
Right.
Fantastic. But everything's just pointing towards Will. I'd be going against the evidence. Like,
so if Will wins convincingly.
Well, in terms of legacy, overall legacy, I mean, talent-wise, he's already all-time great talent-wise. But now we're starting to get into a territory where he got the God tier wins back-to-back against a Hollow, against Hitman, in my opinion. Some people have Hitman, some people have that's a 48-52 split. You know what I'm saying? So whatever. But like great showing in that, another great showing against Hollow, and now you're going against like one of the biggest talked about people in battle rap and beating him there. I don't know. Like I don't know. I think it really does just again show that he's an all-time great, and in ARP's words, maybe the best battle rapper in the world. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. But in terms of this year though, I would just want to see him capitalize off of that. I mean, he has EK after right after the battle or right before. I forget when that battle was.
Before July.
Yeah. He has EK before that on full.
What do you think about that? Is he out of pocket?
I mean, Ill Will's a guy that, you know, takes, you know, his preparation, he doesn't need all that much time to prepare. I personally, but listen, I'm not a person that likes battlers taking like a battle like that right before, you know what I'm saying, a major battle, especially if it's a situation where you come in there playing the EK actually smokes you. Because that can very well happen, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm not all for that. But sometimes battlers like to take on a battle, you know what I'm saying? Knock the rust off and then go into a big battle.
Ab said to me last night he wants to battle. He wants to have one battle before he battles Hollow. He was whatever.
Yeah, but in terms of him beating him though.
I was going to say just in terms of what do you call it? In terms of Will battling down, I think he's actually like historic. I haven't liked sometimes when he does that. That's how you get Rosenberg. That's how you get Payne in those battles. But quietly he's been doing battles like that this year, and he's been showing up. He went to New Orleans. He battled NOTR. You know what I'm saying?
Heavy half, right?
Heavy half, Chicago.
In Chicago too. I feel like he's got 1 or 2 more battles I'm not thinking of in there, and he's been showing up for those. So last year he took the Payne battle late, and I just think. Now full circle again versus an opponent that you don't have to take. It's easy to get, but if he beats EK, then what? You know what I'm saying? Then it's risky. It's
water on the bridge,
risky, but
what if Easy wins a battle?
I mean, it helps him a lot. It helps, you know, and this would be an impressive win. This would be a very impressive win. People are not just walking around beating Ill Will, and it'll be even great. It'll be even greater if it's a situation where Ill Will was great and you just was better than him. You know what I'm saying? So it would be a great win for sure. And on top of that,
would it be impressive like the Hitman battle? Something to that effect? That win?
I don't think it would top the Hitman battle because for what that did in the moment was so huge.
But, you know,
But it still would be impressive, though. It still would be impressive for sure.
One
for
of
sure.
his
I think
wins because one of his tougher opponents, so it would automatically be, you know, one of his better wins. And then, I mean, listen, he'd be right back in the convo where he should have with these top battles like Tay Rock and Big K and things of that nature, where just get back to these great matches that were already on the table. They never really went away, but you know, you go beat Ill Will. Let me tell you, if he clears Ill Will, that 15 minutes of fame interview is going to be
crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And it absolutely should be. So we're just back to regularly scheduled programming as should, you know. So
nah, he gonna go back to his show. He gonna bring that show back. He gonna bring that show back on YouTube. It's all crazy. But truthfully, yeah, I think this would be
could be battle.
I do think it's gonna be battle of the night too, and I think it would most definitely be, you know, another impressive win. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm being real, throughout Easy's entire streak, I thought that he was going to lose to plenty of people. If I'm being real, I thought he was going to lose to Cal. I thought Shine was going to catch him slipping. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a couple times where I thought he was going to lose and he found a way to win. And, you know, this could be one of those situations. Now, do I foresee it happening this time? Not really. But I will say, historically speaking, I've counted him out the same way you counted out Jazz multiple times during Easy's streak. I got to be real. There's been 2 or 3 times I thought his streak was going to end and it didn't. So, you know, but that's why we have to see the battles. We have to see the outcome. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Fellas, man, I appreciate it, man. Listen, when can you guys, I want to do full circle with you guys. When you guys want to do that? Whenever you guys
hey, listen, man, anytime works for me. I mean, whatever is more convenient for you. I know you got a million people, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah, we pull up tomorrow, we pull up whenever you guys
pull up tomorrow. Let's pull up tomorrow and do full circle.
Absolutely. No question.
All
right, I appreciate y'all brothers, man.
Of course. Love as always, 3.
Always. Shout out to my brothers.